You know, one of the biggest strategic failures in business is this belief that a large purchase requires a huge pitch. We pour fortunes into these massive high-pressure sales efforts, trying to close a skeptical buyer, thinking that's the key to growth. But what if that whole assumption is just fundamentally wrong? What if the entire sales battle, the fight for a new user, isn't won with some giant effort, but with a tiny, almost invisible one? What if the secret to unlocking sustainable growth is just getting a single small yes?
See, this idea reveals a huge misunderstanding in how we design our products and how we sell them. We're obsessed with the final decision, that big commitment, the moment the credit card details go in. We see that sale as the finish line of this grueling race we've made the user run. But we're looking at the wrong part of the journey entirely. The real battle, the one that truly decides long-term success or failure, is won or lost way before the user ever gets there.
Just think about the power of that question for a second. What if the entire outcome doesn't depend on a powerful coercive pitch, but on you architecting an experience where the user gives one single, tiny yes? A yes that's so easy, so effortless, it feels like the most natural thing in the world to do. Now, this isn't just a thought experiment. It's a deep psychological principle that once you get it, it changes everything about how you look at user onboarding and retention. It's the secret to stopping users from quitting before they even really start.
So in this explainer, we're going to deconstruct this whole process. We'll kick things off with the small yes paradox. Then we'll get real about the devastating financial cost of churn and the specific psychology of why users bail. From there, we'll introduce the activation bypass blueprint, I'll give you a framework to put it into action, and finally, we'll explore the incredible power of engineering an effortless first win.
Okay, so let's start with this core paradox. The idea that a small commitment can lead to a huge one isn't just some clever sales tactic. It's a fundamental part of how our brains are wired. It's all about creating a powerful internal pull towards a decision instead of an external push. It's the difference between convincing someone to do something and helping them convince themselves.
The engine driving this whole small yes idea is a principle called commitment bias. Deep down, we all have this subconscious need to see ourselves as consistent people. So when we take a small, low-friction action, like signing up for a free trial or even just popping our email in for a newsletter, we create this new, tiny piece of our own identity. We're now someone who uses this tool or someone who's interested in this company. And every action after that is unconsciously measured against that new identity, compelling us to stay consistent with the choice we already made.
And that's the big strategic shift. You stop selling the final destination. Instead, you focus everything on getting the user to take that first, tiny, seemingly insignificant step. Once they've done that, their own need for consistency does all the heavy lifting for you. The big purchase, the full adoption of your product, it becomes the only logical, consistent conclusion to a journey they've already willingly started. The decision is no longer some big hurdle to overcome, it's just the next natural step on a path they've already chosen.
Now, understanding this psychology is so critical because the alternative, the standard way of doing things, is just incredibly expensive. We spend a fortune acquiring new customers. But for most businesses, that investment just evaporates almost instantly. It's like we're pouring capital and resources and all this effort into a bucket that's riddled with holes, and the biggest holes are right there at the top.
Just let that number sink in for a moment. For a lot of software products, a staggering 80% of new users who sign up are gone within 3 days. 3 days. All the effort, the ad spend, the brilliant marketing that brought them to your doorstep is completely wiped out in a matter of hours. This is not a small leak in the bucket. It's a catastrophic failure at the most critical moment in the entire customer journey.
Every single user who quits represents a direct financial loss. Your customer acquisition cost, all the money spent on marketing, ads, and sales to get them to sign up, is just gone. It's a sunk cost with absolutely zero return. So this isn't just a product problem or a UX issue, it's a financial crisis that silently drains companies of their potential to grow. If you want to fix the business, you have to fix this moment first.
To figure out how to fix this, we have to go deeper into the user's mind. Right at that moment, they decide to quit. So why does it happen? It's really tempting to think, oh, they just weren't motivated enough, or they weren't the right fit. But the truth is, their motivation is at its absolute peak the moment they sign up. They've just decided to try your product. The problem isn't their motivation, it's what we do to it. We undermine it and frankly destroy it.
B.J. Fogg's behavior model gives us the perfect way to understand this breakdown. It's a simple, really elegant equation. For any behavior to happen, 3 things have to converge at the same time. You need the motivation to do it, the ability to do it easily, and a trigger to prompt the action. If any one of those 3 is missing or weak, the behavior just fails. It's that simple. And when it comes to user onboarding, the easiest and most important lever you can possibly pull is ability.
So if you apply this model, you can see exactly where typical onboarding just falls apart. The user shows up with high motivation. That's a given. They want your product to solve their problem. But then what do? We immediately throw a bunch of obstacles in their way. Complex forms, long tutorials, mandatory profile setups, requests to invite their whole team. We systematically destroy their ability to succeed. And that trigger, which is usually just a generic welcome email, becomes completely useless because the path forward is now too hard. The equation falls apart, the behavior fails, and the user quits.
This failure then triggers another powerful and really painful psychological force, loss aversion. We are wired to feel the pain of a loss about twice as much as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. So when a user spends 5, 10, 15 minutes struggling with a complicated setup, they don't see it as an investment in some future reward. They see it as a loss of their valuable time and energy right now. Their brain is just screaming at them to cut their losses and run, to stop wasting precious resources on something that isn't delivering immediate value. And so they quit. Not because they weren't interested, but to protect themselves from losing anything more.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. We've got this massive financial leak caused by a psychological breakdown in onboarding, and it's all rooted in a failure to maximize ability and accidentally triggering loss aversion. The good news is that the solution isn't about more features or better marketing or a flashier design. The solution is structural. It's about re-architecting the first few moments of the user experience with surgical precision.
This is the activation bypass. Its entire purpose is to get users to their aha moment. That magical point where they experience your product's core value for the very first time and everything just clicks. The whole system is designed to ruthlessly bypass all the standard, high-friction nonsense that companies think is important and instead clear a direct, effortless path to that first taste of success. This blueprint is built on 3 pillars. First, you have to identify your aha moment. This is your North Star. What is the one key action that makes a user go, "Wow, I get it"? Second, friction deferral. You have to be relentless here. Any step that is not absolutely essential to reaching that aha moment, filling out a profile, connecting social accounts, verifying an email, and especially entering credit card details, all of it must be postponed. Push it until after they felt that undeniable value. And finally, immediate success. When they hit that aha moment, reinforce it, celebrate it, make it feel like a win, because it is one. This validates their decision, strengthens their commitment bias, and makes them want to keep going.
So that's the theory. But how do you actually implement this stuff? How do you translate these powerful psychological principles into a concrete, measurable process for your own product? Well, this is where we move from the blueprint to a practical, actionable framework.
Here's the action plan. Step 1. Define your activation metric. This is non-negotiable. You have to know, with data-backed certainty, what that magic number or aha moment is. For Facebook, early on, it was getting a user to 7 friends in 10 days. For Dropbox, it's getting a user to add 1 file to 1 folder on 1 device. Step 2, audit for friction. Go through your entire sign-up and onboarding flow with a red pen. Ask of every single field, every single click, is this absolutely essential for the user to experience core value right now? If the answer is no, defer it. Be ruthless. Step 3, measure your time to activation or TTA. This becomes your new key performance indicator. It's the average time it takes a new user to get from signing up to hitting that aha moment.
Now just look at the impact here. In a typical high-friction onboarding process, the time to activation could be 48 hours, a week, or maybe never. The user gets lost, they get distracted, or they just give up. But with a minimal path framework, your single-minded goal is to shrink that time from days down to minutes. When you measure and optimize for TTA, you are structurally engineering success directly into your product. You're not just hoping users find value, you are guaranteeing it.
So, what does this all mean? It means we need to fundamentally change our whole perspective. We have to stop thinking about onboarding as a checklist of tasks we need the user to complete for us, and start thinking of it as our one and only chance to deliver an effortless first win for them.
Let's just summarize the key takeaways. A new user's fate is decided in those first 3 days. The single greatest enemy of their long-term value is the friction you put in their way at the very beginning. By building an activation bypass, you're not just improving the user experience, you are protecting your financial investment in acquiring that user in the first place. The bottom line is this: your job is to convert a high-risk lead, someone who's on the verge of quitting, into a deeply committed, retained customer. And you do that by making their first success feel inevitable.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway. Stop pushing. The old model of a funnel, of forcing people through a series of gates, is broken. The new model is all about pull. It's about identifying the core value of your product and then ruthlessly clearing a path so that a new user can experience it as quickly and as effortlessly as humanly possible. When you make that first taste of success easy, you don't need to sell anymore. The product and the user's own psychology will do it all for you.